Somewhere in the NASCAR garage right now, crew chiefs are staring at a screen, replaying the same 5 seconds of data over and over again. Brake traces, throttle inputs, clutch pressure, they have it all. Every single number is right there in front of them. And yet, they cannot copy it. They cannot beat it. And some of them are starting to wonder if the only way to stop it is to change the rulebook itself. This is not a story about horsepower. It is not a story about a faster car. It is a story about a man's right foot and a technique the entire sport buried 30 years ago. His name is Shane Van Gisbergen, and what he is doing right now on NASCAR's road courses should not be possible. 8 wins in 16 starts. A 50% win rate, 1 win away from tying the all-time road course king. And the wildest part? Every team in the garage can see exactly how he's doing it, and not one of them can replicate it. Stick around because by the end of this video, you are going to understand the secret hiding in his footwell and why some of the biggest names in NASCAR are openly admitting they cannot learn it, no matter how hard they try. But before we go any further, I need to ask you for something. If you are someone who genuinely loves the real, raw, technical side of this sport, the side most broadcasts never show you, then this channel was built for you. Every single video here is made with one goal: to bring you stories the cameras miss and the commentators skip over. So if that means something to you, take 2 seconds right now and hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it means everything to a small channel like this one. Now, let's get into it. Let's talk about just how dominant this man has become. Shane Van Gisbergen has won 8 career Cup Series races on road and street courses out of only 16 starts. That is a 50% win rate. To put that into perspective, Jeff Gordon, the man widely considered the greatest road course racer in NASCAR history, won 9 of his 47 road course starts. Van Gisbergen is closing that gap in a fraction of the starts it took a legend to build his legacy. 6 of his last 7 road course races, wins. Not top 5s. Not top 10s. Wins. And it has rivals asking a question nobody wants to say out loud. Is this even a fair fight anymore? To understand why this is happening, you have to stop watching the steering wheel and start watching his feet. In the modern NASCAR Cup Series, almost every driver brakes with their left foot. The current next-gen car uses a sequential-style transmission, which barely requires a clutch at all for shifting gears. So drivers adapted. The left foot lives permanently on the brake. The right foot lives permanently on the throttle. Simple, efficient, standard. Shane Van Gisbergen does not drive that way. He brakes with his right foot, and at the exact same moment, he rolls that same foot sideways to blip the throttle, while his left foot works the clutch underneath him. It is a method called heel and toe, and it is one of the oldest techniques in all of motorsport. This is not some secret invention. This is the old way. The way Cup legends like Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, and Rusty Wallace used to attack road courses decades ago. The way Marcos Ambrose used to win twice at Watkins Glen. But for the last 30 years, as transmissions evolved, the entire sport quietly walked away from it. Everyone, except him. So what does this old-school footwork actually do for him? According to breakdowns from NASCAR analysts including Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr., there are 3 real advantages hiding inside this technique. The first is rear tire protection. By feathering the clutch as he enters a corner, Van Gisbergen briefly disconnects the engine from the rear wheels. That stops the sudden driveline shock that can overload the rear tires mid-corner, the kind of shock that causes wheel hop and chews up rubber lap after lap. The second advantage is rotation. The clutch input helps pivot the car into the corner more naturally, almost like the chassis is helping him turn rather than fighting him. And the third is throttle response. Heel and toe matches the engine's revs precisely to the gear he's dropping into. No lurch, no sudden upset to the balance of the car. Just a smooth, seamless transition through every downshift. Van Gisbergen himself treats all of this like it's nothing special. He has said it is simply normal to him, that he grew up right foot braking and heel towing his whole career and only started experimenting with left foot braking last year, in a rally car, almost as an afterthought. Casual, almost dismissive. And that confidence has done absolutely nothing to calm the rest of the garage. Because here's the thing, drivers have tried to copy him. And one by one they have failed. Joey Logano reportedly planned to right foot brake for an entire Watkins Glen weekend and abandoned the plan during practice. His own teammate, Austin Cindric, went even further. He ran a supercars wildcard event in Adelaide last year specifically to train his feet for this technique. He still could not bring it back to his cup car. Even Ross Chastain, who shares a race shop with Van Gisbergen at Trackhouse Racing, gave up. He has openly admitted his feet end up on the wrong pedals when he tries it his teammates' way, and that at this stage in his career, the old muscle memory always wins. He can hold it together for a corner or two before instinct drags him right back to his own style. Two-time champion Kyle Busch actually tested it in a production car at Indianapolis's road course, and came back half a second slower than his normal technique. By his own admission, he understands how to do it, but executing it smoothly under race pressure is a completely different story. And then there's Kyle Larson, a driver who has won nearly everything this sport has to offer, who put it about as bluntly as possible: you cannot teach an old dog new tricks, and he sees zero chance of ever learning it. Maybe the most fascinating case of all is Denny Hamlin. Hamlin actually used right foot braking earlier in his career and won at Mexico City using it 20 years ago. He has the muscle memory buried somewhere inside him, and yet, even he considers going back to it now to be nearly impossible, and he doubts the next generation of drivers will ever bother learning it either. And here is what turns this from a curiosity into something close to a crisis. NASCAR runs an open data system that every team has access to. That means every single rival team can study Van Gisbergen's exact brake traces and throttle inputs after every race. They are not guessing. They can see precisely what he's doing, lap by lap, corner by corner. And it still doesn't matter, because with practice sessions limited to roughly an hour each weekend, and open testing essentially banned across the sport, there is no realistic path to rebuilding 15 years of muscle memory between Friday practice and Sunday's green flag. This isn't a small skill gap anymore. It's a canyon nobody can cross in a weekend. But here's where the story flips. Van Gisbergen himself does not think the footwork is actually his biggest advantage. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. asked him directly, he brushed the idea aside almost entirely. Instead, he pointed to something else: tire management. Drivers who have raced against him this season back this up completely. Chase Briscoe, who chased him down to the final lap at Sonoma, said Van Gisbergen's real strength is simply how he conserves his tires better than anyone else in the field. AJ Allmendinger described it as a driver who manages to keep the tire underneath him calm, without ever provoking it into giving up grip. Rookie Connor Zilisch put it even more simply: you almost never see Van Gisbergen's tires slipping. While other drivers are flooring it out of corners, he's holding back just enough, never pushing the car past what it actually needs. So now the entire garage is left with one unavoidable question: does NASCAR step in? History gives us a pretty clear pattern here. Whenever one team or one driver finds an edge nobody else can match, the sanctioning body tends to eventually respond. Whether that was suspension geometry controversies in the early 2000s, the dominance of certain manufacturers on intermediate tracks, or any number of competitive imbalance debates over the decades. Garage speculation right now circles around three possible responses. The first, a standardized pedal box layout that would physically make heel and toe far harder to execute. The second, eliminating the clutch entirely on road courses, which would erase the rear tire protection advantage altogether. And the third, the option insiders call the nuclear scenario: changing the differential rules, since Van Gisbergen himself has hinted that an open differential is part of what makes this technique so effective in the next-gen car. But here's the reality check. NASCAR's most recent technical updates focused on short track horsepower and aerodynamic changes. Nothing about pedal boxes, nothing targeting this technique directly. As of right now, this remains speculation, not policy. And plenty of longtime fans don't even want it to change. To them, right foot braking and heel and toe represent a piece of stock car history coming back to life. A callback to how the sport used to be raced before modern transmissions erased the skill entirely. To legislate it away, some argue, would be punishing craftsmanship. So where does this go from here? One path. The rules stay exactly as they are, Van Gisbergen keeps collecting road course wins, and eventually a new generation of drivers grows up learning this technique from the start, rather than trying to retrofit it onto decades of muscle memory. The other path, NASCAR steps in, the advantage gets restricted, and Van Gisbergen adapts once again, something he's already quietly begun doing by experimenting with left foot braking in a rally car. And if there's one name to watch heading into that future, it's 19-year-old Connor Zilisch, a driver who has already beaten Van Gisbergen head-to-head in lower series competition and who delivered a career-best 7th-place finish at Sonoma this year. He may be the first sign of what the next generation of road course racing actually looks like. Whatever happens next, one thing is already certain. A driver from Auckland, New Zealand has reached back 30 years into NASCAR's past, pulled out a forgotten technique, and used it to force America's biggest racing series to seriously reconsider its own rulebook. That's not a small thing. That's history being written in real time. So here's the question I want to leave you with. Should NASCAR step in and level the playing field, or should they leave it alone and let raw talent win out? Drop your answer down in the comments. I read every single one. And if you made it this far, you clearly care about this sport as much as we do. So do me one favor before you go. Hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and join the channel. We're building something here, one story at a time, and we'd love to have you with us for the next one. This has been NASCAR Report today. We'll see you in the next video.